Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look under the hood of what is, for most businesses, their single most important digital asset, their website. We're going to see what happens when a real company's website goes for a full digital health checkup. And trust me, the diagnosis might just surprise you.
I want you to think about it like this. What if your website was a patient? I mean, it works for you 24/7, right? But how do you really know if it's healthy? Well, that's exactly what a digital marketing audit is for. It's basically a comprehensive medical exam, checking everything from its vital signs all the way to its reputation out in the community.
So let's meet our patient for today, pureairflorida.com. They're a local service business. We're going to follow along with their diagnosis step by step and see exactly what the digital doctors found. All right, first things first, we've got the initial examination. You know, just like when a doctor checks your temperature and your blood pressure, a site audit starts with the most basic, high-level signs of health.
So the first step is to crawl the website. This basically means sending a little bot to go visit every single page it can find. In this case, the tool scanned 25 pages to get a quick snapshot of the site's condition. So what did it find?
Well, the results of that first scan are, let's just say, a little concerning. Out of 25 pages, only 4, just 4, are considered healthy. A whopping 19 pages have issues. That's a huge imbalance, and it's our very first sign that something is seriously wrong with our patient's health.
And then we get this number, 875. Wow, that is a massive flashing red flag. The audit found 875 warnings. Now, these aren't critical errors that are, breaking the site completely, but they are serious technical problems that are absolutely killing its chances of being found by new customers. The big question is, where are they all coming from? Okay, so we've checked the vitals. Now it's time to do some lab work. We're going to go behind the scenes and look at all the complex technical stuff that search engines like Google use to judge a website.
And here's where a lot of those warnings are coming from. Missing meta description on 17 pages? That's the little summary that shows up in Google search results. Super important. Low word count is exactly what it sounds like. These pages are just too thin on useful information. And low text to HTML ratio basically means there's more code than actual words, which can look kind of spammy to search engines.
Next, we need to talk about something called an authority score. Now, the easiest way to wrap your head around this is to just think of it as your website's reputation. It's a score search engines use to figure out how trustworthy and credible your site is.
And Pure Air's score is a 7. Yeah, a 7 out of 100. Ouch. To put that in perspective, a score this low is like having a really weak reputation in your town. It makes it incredibly hard to get referrals. In other words, to rank high in search results and get people to visit your site. And speaking of referrals, not all of them are good for you. You've got these things called toxic backlinks. These are links coming from spammy, low-quality, or just plain sketchy websites. If your authority score is your reputation, then these are like getting a referral from a known scam artist. They can actually hurt your credibility.
And oh boy, look at this. The backlink audit found a medium toxicity score. If you dig into the details, you see that out of almost 1,000 links pointing to this site, more than half are potentially toxic. Like the original analysis points out, this can make it look like you're trying to cheat the system, and that can lead to some serious penalties from search engines.
Okay, last stop in our technical deep dive, page speed. A score of 51 out of 100 is kinda meh. It's in that low to average range. Think of this as the patient having really slow reflexes. A slow-loading website is frustrating, right? It makes people leave, and it's also a huge factor that hurts your search engine rankings.
So, we've seen all the lab results. Now it's time for the physical exam. We have to see what a real customer actually experiences when they land on the site, because all the technical health in the world doesn't mean a thing if the user's journey is a mess.
So let's try to put ourselves in a customer's shoes. They're interested in a service, they land on this page, and then what? What are they supposed to do? There are no buttons, no forms, no clear next step. It creates this immediate sense of confusion and friction.
All right, let's say our customer is really determined and they finally find the request a quote page. They're immediately hit with this form. I mean, look at all that information it's asking for right away. This is like walking into a store and having the clerk demand your social security number before you can even browse. It's a huge barrier, and it's going to make a lot of people just give up and leave.
And it's not always the big things. It's often a collection of small issues that just create this overall feeling of low quality. Like the site lists a raw email address. That's just an open invitation for spam. It's got inconsistent capitalization, like here on the St. Lucie County menu item. It just feels a little sloppy. and it hides its service areas in a drop-down menu. Each one of these is like a little paper cut, but add them all together and they really hurt the user's trust. Okay, the exam is complete, we've reviewed the lab work, it is time to bring all of these findings together and deliver the final diagnosis for pureairflorida.com.
So, what's the final verdict? Well, our patient here has 3 core ailments. First, a poor technical foundation is just crushing its visibility in search. Second, a super low search authority is signaling a serious lack of trust to Google. And third, a flawed user journey is actively pushing potential customers away.
But hey, a diagnosis isn't complete without a prescription, right? The treatment plan is actually pretty clear. Step 1, a deep technical cleanup to fix all those errors. Step 2, focus on what's called conversion rate optimization. Basically, redesigning those key pages and forms to make them way easier to use. And Step 3, start the long-term work of building authority, getting rid of the bad links and earning good ones. You know, this quote from the source material just sums it all up perfectly. A low authority score isn't just one thing. It's a symptom of much deeper problems with the site's content, its links, and the overall experience for the user, all of which we've seen here today. And that really brings us to the final question, the one you should probably be asking yourself. Your website is your hardest working employee. It's out there representing your brand around the clock. So after seeing everything that can go wrong just beneath the surface, it's worth asking, is your website healthy enough to actually do its job?